I have had many students say to me that they don't know how to study their vocabulary. They find it very boring, and because of that, they just avoid it. And perhaps one of the most important reasons why people are not doing well in Afrikaans, it's because they haven't learned their vocab. So that's what grade 8 and grade 9 and part of grade 10 are for. Those are the years where you're building your foundations, you're learning your basic grammar rules, and the most important thing is that you're supposed to learn your vocab. So if you haven't spent the time in grade 8, 9 and 10 learning your vocab, then that's going to have a huge impact on grade 11 and matric, because ultimately you won't be able to do your comprehension, you won't be able to do your summary, you can't do your writing if you don't have any vocab. So I wanted to go through and show you the best way to learn vocab to A, ensure that you don't get bored, and B, ensure that it moves into your long-term memory. You cannot learn vocabulary at the last minute. It's not something you can cram. It will sit in your short-term memory, it'll last maybe not even a day, and then you'll forget it. And that's why most people struggle with vocab, is because they never learned it properly in the first place. So I want to teach you the correct technique. So the first thing I wanted to go over is this idea of cognates. So cognates are words that come from a descendant language. And English and Afrikaans basically come from the same original language, which is German. And therefore, English and Afrikaans actually have a lot of words in common. And I've given you two examples here. The first one is, if we read it in English, my pen is in my hand. In Afrikaans, my pen is in my hand. If you look at the other example, my hand is in water. In Afrikaans, my hand is in water. So there are hundreds of words in English and Afrikaans that look the same and that mean the same. Now, with the knowledge that you know that you already have at least hundreds of words that you know already through English, you need to focus on the words in Afrikaans that are maybe not similar to English. And this is where your studying vocab becomes really important. So the first thing I want to say is, when I show you how to do it, vocab should only be maximum 20 minutes a day. Don't sit for hours on end. If you try and study for hours on end, then you're just going to get bored. So do 15 to 20 minutes a day. We do supply vocab lists with all of our modules. So if you buy any of our modules, then you will get access to vocab lists, and you can use those to study. All of the lists that we have generated are directly related to the exams and to the work you have to do. And also remember that when you study your poetry or when you study your set workbook, you are learning vocab. Don't learn that in isolation. Whatever vocab you learn for poetry or your set work is vocab that you can use in your comprehensions and in your writing. It's not just for donkerweb or for a toeloper. It's for everything. So you're not wasting time when you're learning that vocab. There are two different ways that you can learn vocab. The first is to mix and match, and I'll give you an example just now. It's where you have Afrikaans words and English words and you try and match them together. Then the other way is to read the word and to say what the word is in English or Afrikaans. And it's very important when you're learning vocab that you do it both ways, English to Afrikaans and Afrikaans to English. So I want to show you a way that is the best. You're going to take 3 Ziploc bags. So we've got these examples here. Literally, you can see they're just little Ziploc bags. And what I've done is I've put them into 3 categories. So words you know well, words you sort of know, and words you don't know. So what we're going to be doing with these now is we are going to be taking our words and we're going to be putting them into the different bags. And then each bag, you will spend a different amount of time on them. The most important thing you need to remember is, do not leave learning your vocab until exam time. The best times to learn vocabs are term 1 and term 3. So term 3 now is the time that you must spend learning your vocab. Once you've taken our vocabulary lists from our modules, you can write them out on pieces of paper like I've done here. I've got the English in purple, and then I've got the Afrikaans in blue. And what you're going to do is you will obviously take the words, and now you are going to mix and match. And this is the best way to do it. You're going to be learning English to Afrikaans and Afrikaans to English. So say, for instance, we take the word, here, let's just take the word kwai. All right, now, a lot of people confuse kwai because they think kwai means angry. Okay, kwai actually means strict. So now you have learned that kwai means strict. And you can test yourself, and once you're sure that you know what it is, you can put it into the know well packet. And then you will say, okay, I know these words really well, so they're going to go into this packet. And with my know well, I'm only going to practice them once a month because I'm going to be using it to refresh my memory. Then you're going to look at your other words, and for instance, say you take the word verras, and you are not sure what verras means, and so you are going to go and look it up, and you will discover that verras means surprise. So now you didn't really know this word, so you're going to put it in your don't know pack. So you're going to put it in this packet for don't know. And then these are the ones that you are going to study every day for 15 to 20 minutes until you know the words really well. And then you're going to move them into the sort of know packet. And the sort of know packet you're only going to do once a week. So say, for instance, if you got the word leon and you weren't 100% sure what leon meant, but after a while, after looking at all the English words, you realized, oh, yes, okay, leon means a lie, okay? It's the noun for a lie, but you weren't really confident. You're going to put this in your sort of know packet because it took you a while to remember what it meant. And remember, you need to speed up the memory of your vocab. So that's going to go into your sort of know packet, and this is the one that you are going to practice once a week, just to refresh your memory. After you've done all of your revision and you've looked at all of your words and you've tried to work out which words you know well, which words you don't really know, they're going to be in all of their different packets. And then what you will do is your words that you know well, those you don't need to worry about because they're now in your long-term memory. So you only need to practice those about once a month, and you should be able to practice them really quickly. The words you sort of know, so these are the ones where after a while you eventually remembered what they meant. But remember, you need to speed up your memory because when you're in an exam, you've got a time constraint. So if you're doing a comprehension or if you're writing, you want that word to come to your head really quickly. Those you're going to practice once a week. And then the words that you didn't know at all, where you looked at them and you went, I have no idea what this means. And you double checked when you looked in the flashcards that we gave in our modules, those are going to go into your don't know packet, and you're going to practice these every day for 15 to 20 minutes. And if you use this system, obviously the words are going to move. So words that you didn't know, after you've practiced them, they will then move into your sort of know packet. The words that you sort of knew and that you've now learned are going to move into your know well packet. So you're going to be moving words the whole time. And what this does is it stops you from wasting time going over words you already know, and it focuses your attention on the words you don't know. And I'm sure you will find that this system will help you remember your vocab really, really well. It's very good for people with ADD because it's part of moving the words into your long-term memory, and a lot of people with ADD struggle with that. Their short-term memory is very good, which is why they tend to cram, study at the last minute, but they are not able to move information into the long-term memory. So this sort of practice and this kind of repetition is what will put it into your long-term memory. The good thing about doing your vocab like this is that it stops you from having to study at the last minute for exams. So ultimately with Afrikaans, what you want is you actually don't want to be studying during exams for Afrikaans. You want to be practicing, you want to spend term 1 and 3 learning all your vocab, and so by the time it gets to exams, you're not studying for Afrikaans, which frees up more time to focus on your other subjects. And matrics, it's not too late to learn your vocab. If you start using this system literally now, this week, you will be able to build your vocab in time for prelims, but definitely in time for finals.